Welcome back to another deep dive here on BookCast FM.
Bringing books to life one cast at a time.
That's right. Our mission, as always, is pretty simple. We try to cut through all that noise, you know, grab great sources like the one we've got today.
An incredible one.
Definitely. And pull out those really crucial bits of insight, give you a shortcut to, well, being really well informed.
And today, wow, we're tackling a book that's been, honestly, a bit of a game changer for leaders everywhere.
Which book is that?
We're diving deep into extreme ownership, how U.S. Navy SEALs lead and win. The authors are Jocko Willink and Leif Babin.
And these guys aren't just, academics writing theory.
Not at all. They're former U.S. Navy SEAL officers, battle-tested. They led combat teams in Ramadi, Iraq.
Which was, an incredibly intense conflict zone.
Exactly. So their principles, they're forged in, real-world life-or-death situations. That gives them a certain weight,
It really does. And that's what makes this book, I think, so compelling. The core idea, extreme ownership, sounds simple, right?
Deceptively simple.
Yeah, but it's demanding. Leaders take absolute responsibility for everything.
Everything in their world. No excuses, no blaming others, period.
It's tough love, definitely. But they argue it's the only way to actually win. And the way they structure the book is just brilliant for making it stick.
They really make it actionable, don't they? Each chapter kicks off with a gripping combat story, often something that went wrong or a massive challenge they face.
Real edge-of-your-seat stuff sometimes.
Totally. And from that intense moment, they pull out a universal leadership principle, but then, and this is key, they pivot.
To the business world.
Right. They show you a real-world business case study, how that exact principle translates from the battlefield directly to your boardroom or your team or, frankly, your life.
So yeah, this isn't just for SEALs or military folks. If you're a CEO, a team lead, an entrepreneur,
a manager, anyone with influence or responsibility.
This book is aimed squarely at you. It's about upping your leadership game, transforming team performance, and, well, winning.
So let's jump in. Part I is called Winning the War Within. These are the foundational ideas.
Okay, chapter 1. Makes sense it's called.
Extreme ownership. Naturally. And the story that opens the book, it's powerful. A high-stakes, blue-on-blue incident.
Friendly fire?
Yeah.
In Ramadi?
Yeah, high pressure. Jocko Willink, the commander, he walks into this debrief. He knows the chaos, the potential fallout.
The blame game could start any second.
Exactly. But instead of pointing fingers at his guys, at comms issues, whatever, he just owns it completely. He says, there is only one person to blame for this. Me.
Wow. That moment, I think that's where it really hits you. It's not just saying sorry.
No, it's about claiming control. The principle is the leader owns everything. Planning, comms, the culture, training, contingency plans, strategy, if something goes wrong down the line.
The leader ultimately failed to set them up right.
Precisely. And the business example they give is spot on. A sales leader blaming marketing, blaming the product team for missed targets. Sound familiar?
Oh, yeah. Happens all the time.
So Willink and Babin guide him. Get him to accept responsibility for that poor coordination, to align his team, clarify the value prop, own the execution, and the change.
It's quick.
It's fast, performance shoots up, trust is rebuilt, it works.
It's more than accountability then. It's like empowerment.
That's exactly it. When that sales leader was blaming others, he was powerless, a victim of circumstance. But the moment he owned the problem,
he gained the power to fix it.
Right. It reframes blame completely. It becomes a lever for control, for change. That's the real insight for anyone feeling stuck.
And that idea flows right into chapter 2, doesn't it?
Yeah.
No bad teams, only bad leaders.
It does. This one opens with a classic story from BUDS training, the SEAL selection course.
The boat crew races.
Yeah, so you have these boat crews, right? One team always wins, crushes it. Another team, always dead last. Consistently.
So the instructors decide to prove a point.
They just swap the leaders between the winning boat and the losing boat. That's it. Same crew members.
And what happened?
The crew that was always losing suddenly starts winning under the new leader. And the crew that always won, they start struggling under their new leader.
Pretty definitive.
It's a vivid demonstration, right? Team outcome reflects leadership. Low performance, it's not usually the people. It's the standards, the discipline, the belief or lack thereof coming from the top.
So the business case would be?
A department always missing deadlines. Manager blames bad hires, lack of resources, the usual suspects.
Mm-hmm.
But the authors push him. clarify expectations, improve communication, get rid of ambiguity, actually train your people instead of blaming them. And guess what?
The department turns around.
Culture changes, performance improves, transformed.
So the big takeaway is that really uncomfortable truth. There are no bad teams, only bad leaders. It forces you to look in the mirror.
It does. And it says your culture is shaped by what you tolerate, not just what you say you want. You don't just fire the team, you develop them, which, takes serious commitment.
And for that development to work, the leader needs to actually, believe. Which brings us to chapter 3.
Believe, yeah. Leif Babin's story here is great. His SEAL team gets an order from higher up. It seems risky, maybe even illogical on the surface.
So the temptation is to just push back or complain.
And just follow blindly without conviction. But Leif doesn't do that. He takes the crucial time to understand the intent behind the mission, the why.
The bigger picture.
Exactly. Once he gets aligned with that larger strategic goal, then he can confidently explain it to his team, handle their concerns, and lead them effectively.
That really highlights the principle. You have to genuinely believe in the mission yourself if you want to inspire others.
Absolutely. Without that personal conviction, you can't really defend the plan. You can't execute decisively. It's not about blind obedience. It's about actively seeking understanding, clarifying the purpose for yourself first.
And the business parallel.
A division head gets a new strategy handed down from the top. She's skeptical, doesn't really buy into it.
But instead of letting her team see that doubt.
Right. Instead of spreading that uncertainty, she first goes back to senior leadership. Gets the rationale clarified, understands the why. Then she confidently reframes the message for her team, addresses their worries, builds buy-in.
And the project succeeds.
Yeah.
Because the doubt never took root.
Exactly. Doubt from a leader. It spreads like wildfire. So this chapter really hammers home that leaders need to sort out their own resistance first, before they try to sell it to anyone else.
They say something like, to convince and inspire others, a leader must be a true believer.
That's the quote. It's a reminder that leadership isn't just spreadsheets and strategy, it's emotional, it's psychological projection.
And speaking of psychological states, that leads nicely into a really common trap. Chapter 4, check the ego.
Yes, ego, the enemy within. This resonates, I think, with everyone.
Definitely. What's the combat story here?
It involves collaboration or lack thereof between SEAL and Army units in Ramadi. Ego almost completely derailed things. The SEAL leaders were initially resistant to adjusting their plan based on input from the Army guys.
Pride getting in the way.
Totally. Leading to miscommunication, rivalry, all hurting the mission. Jocko sees this happening. He calls a crucial debrief, openly admits his own part in the errors, and refocuses everyone, mission first, personal pride second, or maybe last.
It's such a timeless lesson, isn't it? Ego just clouds your judgment.
It blocks learning, damages relationships, stops you from adapting when you need to. Effective leaders, they keep their ego in check. Stay humble, stay open to ideas, admit mistakes quickly. Always mission and team first.
They have that great line, the most difficult ego to deal with is your own.
So true. And the business case. A senior exec clinging to a failing strategy because it was his strategy.
It doesn't happen.
Right. The authors coach him. Set the ego aside, invite honest feedback, even if it stings. Admit the missteps. Collaborate on a fix. Result. Trust rebuilt. Project saved.
So the takeaway is just constant vigilance. Watch for those signs of ego kicking in, getting defensive, being inflexible, blaming others.
Yeah. Separate your identity from your ideas. Practice humility. Lead to serve, not out of pride. Getting out of your own way. It's fundamental.
Okay, that wraps up part 1. Now into part 2. The laws of combat. These sound intense. Chapter 5.
Chapter 5 is cover and move. This comes straight from the battlefield logic. Picture a firefight. One SEAL team is pinned down, taking heavy fire.
Right.
Another team lays down suppressing fire, cover fire, allowing the first team to move to a better position. Then maybe they switch roles. It's fundamental teamwork.
But the story shows where it can go wrong.
Exactly. In their example, miscommunication and teams focusing only on their own part of the fight nearly caused disaster. They weren't properly covering each other.
So cover and move becomes a metaphor.
Precisely. For teamwork across the board, teams within the larger team have to support each other, not compete, not operate in silos. If you prioritize your little piece over the overall mission,
The whole thing fails.
recipe for failure. And you see this constantly in business, right? Operations blaming sales, sales blaming marketing.
The classic silos.
Yeah. The authors challenge leaders. Reframe these teams. They depend on each other. Link their performance metrics to joint success. Put liaisons in place. Break down those walls.
And the result is less friction, more productivity.
Dramatically so. The core message is that leaders have to actively destroy silos, align everyone with the big mission. It's not about you or your department, it's about the team. As they say, it's not about you, it's about the team. Powerful stuff.
Really powerful. And if you want teams to work together, Chapter 6 says you need to keep things simple.
Oh, this is crucial. The combat story. A mission plan in Ramadi that was just way too complicated. Too many moving parts, too much jargon maybe.
So what happened?
Confusion, disorientation on the ground, misobjectives. Execution got totally compromised. And it wasn't because people weren't trying hard.
It was the complexity itself.
That was the enemy.
Yeah.
So the principle is simplicity is king, especially under pressure. Complex plans, they break easily. Every single person needs to clearly get the plan, their role in it, and the end goal.
Simple, clear, and concise.
That's the mantra. Plans and orders must be communicated in a manner that is simple, clear, and concise. The business example is a software launch. The plan was this dense, jargon-filled monster. Nobody really understood it.
Chaos.
Pretty much. Leif helps them boil it down. One-page brief, clear objectives, clear roles. Result: execution speeds up, confusion disappears.
So the takeaway is clarity beats cleverness.
Every time. If you can't easily explain the plan, people can't execute it effectively. You have to confirm understanding down to the lowest level before you go.
Okay, simple plans are great, but things still go wrong. Chaos happens. Chapter 7.
Prioritize and execute. This is what you do when everything hits the fan at once. The combat story is pure chaos. Enemy fire, teammate wounded, exposed position, comms are down.
Nightmare scenario. Multiple critical problems simultaneously.
Exactly. And Jocko's guidance, developed in moments like this, is incredibly effective.
Relax, look around, make a call.
Relax in that situation. Relatively speaking, it means detaching emotionally for a second to think clearly. Look around, assess the situation. Make a call, identify the single biggest threat, the highest priority.
And
Then you focus all energy on that one thing. Execute decisively. Solve it. Then, relax, look around, make the next call. Bring order to the chaos one step at a time.
they'll resist the urge to fix everything at once.
Yes, that's the trap. When overwhelmed, leaders must determine the highest priority. Focus, execute. The business example. A tech company hit with a cyber breach, server outages, and angry customers, all at the same time.
Sounds stressful.
Understatement. Initially, the execs try to tackle everything. Chaos ensues. Willink and Babin advise. Prioritize. Stop the breach first. That's number one. Assign separate teams to the other fires. Communicate calmly. Regain control.
Makes sense. When everything feels urgent, you have to pick what's most urgent.
Exactly. Or nothing gets done effectively. Leaders need that ability to step back, assess, and direct effort where it counts most. Determine the highest priority task and execute. Simple command, hard to do.
And doing that effectively often requires Chapter 8, Decentralized Command.
Yes. This is huge. The combat context is urban warfare. Teams are split up, maybe across different buildings. Things are happening fast.
Too fast for orders to come all the way from the top for every little thing.
Way too slow. Decisions have to be made on the ground by junior leaders right then and there. The story involves a junior leader making a quick call to reposition his guys, avoiding disaster. He didn't wait for permission. He understood the mission's intent and acted. It embodies everyone leads.
Everyone leads. I like that.
It's a core principle. Leaders must empower their junior team members. Train them, trust them, make sure they understand the overall goal, the commander's intent, then let them make decisions within their sphere.
Because waiting for top-down approval is a bottleneck.
A massive bottleneck, especially in fast-moving situations. The business example is a growing startup. The CEO is approving everything, slowing things down.
Classic bottleneck founder.
Right. Jocko and Leif help him. Clarify your intent. Empower your department heads. Set clear boundaries for their decisions. Let them lead their teams.
And the result is faster execution, better morale.
Smoother scaling. Because you can't micromanage everything as you grow. Every team member needs to know the mission and their part. Build that trust. Build that leadership capability down the chain. Everyone leads.
Okay, let's move into part 3, sustaining victory. This feels like locking in the gains. Chapter 9 is about plan.
Right. We talked about simplicity in plans. Now it's about the planning process. Leif Babin leads a planning session before a high-risk mission. It's meticulous.
Detail.
Detailed, yes, but also flexible. Clear objective, simple enough for everyone to grasp, and crucially, built-in contingencies. What if X happens? What if Y goes wrong?
Looking ahead.
Exactly. And getting full team buy-in during planning. When everyone understands the plan and their role, execution is smoother, even when unexpected things happen.
So the principle is about thorough, flexible planning, but also communication during planning.
Absolutely. Execution fails because of poor planning or weak communication of the plan. Planning is a team sport. It's a leadership opportunity. The business case. A manufacturer struggling with supply chain issues.
Very relevant today.
Totally. Babin helps them develop simple contingency plans, communicate the intent, what are we trying to achieve even if the plan breaks, use shorter planning cycles, and involve the teams doing the work in the planning itself.
Which leads to more flexibility, fewer errors when things go sideways.
Exactly, and stronger ownership because they helped build the plan. The takeaway, plans need to be simple, flexible, clear. Make sure people get the why, not just the what. As they say, without a clear plan, people make stuff up, and it might not align with the mission.
Makes total sense. Which leads right into Chapter 10, leading up and down the chain of command.
Yeah, this is critical. Leadership isn't just downwards. Jocko talks about receiving missions that weren't entirely clear from his bosses.
So what did he do? Complain to his team?
No, he proactively communicated upwards, asked clarifying questions, provided feedback on feasibility, managed his boss, essentially, while also ensuring his own team downwards clearly understood their part and felt empowered.
So it's communication in both directions.
Vital. You have to influence those above you and manage those below you. Push information up, realities from the ground, potential issues, pull clarity down, make sure your team understands the mission and intent.
The business example is probably a mid-level manager.
Spot on. A manager getting vague directives from executives. Feeling frustrated, Jocko and Leif coach him. Schedule focused updates upwards. Ask direct, clarifying questions. Translate the executive strategy into actionable tasks for your team. And give honest, constructive feedback back up the chain.
Takes courage, but improves everything.
Hugely. Better communication, better morale. The key is, don't just complain, communicate. Understand your boss's goals. Explain challenges, but also propose solutions. Own the communication gap at both ends.
Okay, but what about when you just don't have all the info? You can't communicate your way to certainty sometimes. Chapter 11.
Decisiveness amid uncertainty. This is for those moments. Leif Babin's team is prepping for a mission. Intel is incomplete. Enemy locations are unclear. Big unknowns.
So paralysis by analysis is a real risk.
Huge risk, but Leif has to make a call. He assesses what they do know, weighs the risks, makes a decision under pressure, and leads the team into action. Because hesitating, waiting for perfect information that might never come.
It could be even more dangerous.
Often is. So the principle, leaders must make decisions without all the facts. Waiting for certainty is often waiting too long, leading to inaction. Assess, prioritize variables, decide boldly.
The business case must be relatable here.
Very. E-commerce site outage during a massive sale. Engineers aren't 100% sure of the root cause. Senior leaders hesitate, debating options while money pours out the door.
Agonizing.
Right. Jocko and Leif's advice. Make a decision based on the most likely fix. Execute it now. Except that a good decision made quickly is usually way better than a perfect decision made too late.
So uncertainty is just part of the landscape.
It's inevitable. Hesitation kills momentum. Decisiveness isn't recklessness. It's making the best call you can with what you've got right now. As they say, a leader must be comfortable in the chaos and act decisively amid uncertainty. Powerful.
It really is. And that brings us to the final chapter, Chapter 12. It pulls it all together.
It does. Discipline equals freedom, the dichotomy of leadership. Jocko talks about the extreme discipline SEALs practice in prep, gear checks, communication protocols. Rigorous discipline.
Seems restrictive.
You'd think so. But here's the paradox. That intense discipline is exactly what gives them the freedom to be flexible, adaptable, creative when things go sideways during a mission.
How does that work?
Because the fundamentals are locked down. They don't have to think about basic procedures under stress. It's muscle memory. That frees up mental bandwidth to react to the unexpected. Structure creates flexibility. Discipline equals freedom.
That's a profound idea. Discipline equals freedom.
It is. True freedom to execute comes from solid systems, good habits, clear structures. Discipline and prep frees your mind under stress. And this chapter also introduces the dichotomy of leadership.
Balancing opposing forces.
Exactly. Leaders have to constantly balance seemingly contradictory traits. Be confident, but not cocky. Courageous, but not reckless. Disciplined, but not rigid. Know when to lead from the front and when to follow or support. Own everything, but also empower others.
It's a balancing act.
Always. The business example is an exec who's too rigid, suffocating his team. Jocko and Leif help him find the balance. Keep discipline where it counts, meetings, reports, but loosen the reins where creativity and initiative are needed. Give trust.
Greater agility, more initiative follows.
Right. So the final takeaway, discipline equals freedom. Build good systems, practice self-discipline, and master the paradoxes. Confident but humble, fierce but thoughtful. It's about finding that effective balance in the middle.
Wow, what a journey through extreme ownership. From that core idea of taking total responsibility.
All the way to discipline, freedom, and balancing those leadership dichotomies.
These principles, they feel truly universal, incredibly actionable too. Applying this stuff could genuinely change how you lead, how your team works, your results, really.
Absolutely. So as you head back into your week, maybe think about it. Where can you apply a bit more extreme ownership? Maybe it's owning a communication slip-up.
Or maybe it's just digging deeper to truly believe in the mission you're asking your team to follow and making sure they feel that belief.
Small steps can make a huge difference.
Definitely. And if these ideas resonated with you, we absolutely recommend picking up the book itself, Extreme Ownership, How U.S. Navy SEALs Lead and Win by Jocko Willink and Leif Babin.
There's so much more depth, more stories in there. And buying the book directly supports the authors, helps them keep sharing these powerful lessons.
Yep, you'll find a link to grab a copy right there in our description. Thanks so much for diving deep with us today.
This has been another deep dive from BookCast FM.
Bringing books to life, one cast at a time. Join us next time for another deep exploration.